Brilliant.
Down, Don.
Nice one. All right, over to you.
It's Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined by former world champion Anthony Crolla via our friends at freebets.com. Anthony, where in the world are you right now?
Danny, what's happening, mate? I am actually in Singapore for well, by the time I would have been here for 3 nights. Because I've got Rhiannon Dixon fighting next week, so I can't leave, for too long. But yes, but all the hard work's been done. So yeah, no, I'm doing a little bit of work over here, and yeah, first time in Singapore, and yeah, it's a funky place. It is. It's a bit of a mad one, but no, yeah, good place.
And 3 nights obviously has you back in time for the big fight at Wembley Stadium on
I
Saturday. Are you
do.
going live or are you tuning in?
Do you know what? Then I'm not sure yet, mate. I'm not sure. And without sounding boring, I'm like, I've been lucky enough to appreciate a lot of great atmospheres and stuff like that. But it's probably one of them. What is nice to watch at home, isn't it? It is one of them. It's nice to watch at home. So I'm probably. I'll see. I'll see. But I think I'm going to be watching at home.
Now, of course, you do a weekly column for freebets.com and the
Yeah.
Seconds Out website. I've had a sneak peek, obviously, at this week's where you go into
Yeah.
detail on the whole card, but we've talked about the undercard in a previous video, so we'll focus more on the main event this time round.
Yeah.
One of the things that captured my attention from what you wrote was how important the first 3 rounds are in
Yeah.
Joshua against Dubois. Why is that? Why is that the most important segment of this fight?
Because I do believe, probably similar to Ergovic, I mean, I don't believe Daniel Dubois can let Anthony Joshua land as often as what Ergovic did early on. But it's like, it's not just a simple fact of Daniel Dubois getting through those first, early rounds, no matter what. If he takes too much punishment, it doesn't matter how fit you are. You take big shots, it capture, it takes out the tank. You can be super fit and whatever, but and listen, that helps. But if you're taking big shots, even if they don't put you over, they're going to take it out of you. And listen, I think if you're landing very often at heavyweight, there's a good chance you are going to go over. So that's what I think. But the more and more, like, sorry, the closer and closer we get into it, I'm getting more and more excited for it. I really am. I just think it's a really intriguing fight. And listen, it could be that, and then we could all be wrong, and then AJ wins and wins well. Not really many questions are asked, and I think he is capable of that. I think when the fight first got made, I think Ben Davison, the team, was like, "We fancy this to go really early,"
Mm.
and there's no denying Anthony Joshua has got the shots to land against Daniel Dubois, which could make that the case. But I believe with Daniel Dubois, I do believe he's really improved. He's got that air of self belief. And I think more than ever for this fight, I think they will be looking to tighten up because against Ergovic, listen, it was a great win, but he did get hit too often. I think all his team will say that. But Dubois is a very, very good fighter. I just think it's a really fascinating fight.
And you said in the column you expect Joshua to start very sharply. From
Yeah.
your perspective, does that mean starting off establishing his jab, being on his P's and Q's, or does that mean seek and destroy, going out to end it early?
Well, I think he'll look to establish his jab, but I also think he'll looking to set little traps and land big counters. I do. I don't listen, might be wrong because he might think I've got the skills. He's done it with Ruiz that time to get behind the jab and box on the back foot. But I do believe he'll be looking for those shots, trying to set up the big one, looking for the big counter. And that's what I believe. We're looking for that big right hand of his, whether it's over one of Dubois' jabs or whichever it may be. I believe that's the kind of thing he'll be looking for early on. And like you say, no matter what, I wouldn't. I do believe Joshua will land some big shots early on. Like you say, it's just how many and how does Daniel Dubois come through if he does come through it.
Now, I want to get you to put your trainer's hat on for a minute or a few minutes.
Yeah,
Let's start with Joshua. If you were in that corner, who knows, maybe you will be in the future. He tends to change his trainers on a regular basis. But joking aside, what would you be advising him to do? What would be the main tactics for
I,
him?
I think sort of similar to what I was sort of saying. I think he's going to do. I think establish that jab early, levels with his jab as well, up and down, and every opportunity gets, but then again, at the same time, not going too crazy with it. Dubois, if he comes that lazy lead hand, you drop that right hand over. I really believe that. I don't believe, I think early on, he can't get up the ground too easy. That's my opinion on it. That's my opinion on it. Like, where I believe if Joshua immediately goes on the back foot, I believe he's probably playing into Dubois' hands a little bit, for later in the fight. But no, I think he's got to come out, take the centre of the ring, and be nice and active with his lead hand and levels with it as well.
And then you've got Dubois. I know he's fought Usyk
Yeah.
before, but this is another step up in terms of the occasion as well as the opponent. I mean, not a step up in terms of the opponent.
Yeah.
Obviously, Usyk's beaten Joshua.
Yeah.
But certainly in terms of the occasion, Wembley Stadium, record crowd. What would you be saying to him in the corner? Not just about Joshua, but about the occasion.
I'd be saying, like, listen, this is what you've worked so hard for your whole life. This, Joshua's been there before. Daniel Dubois has not really been there like this. Do you know what I mean? I know he's been in huge fights, but on this kind of scale, it isn't. I don't know. And really, Usyk was seen as, well, he might be the number 2 in the division. Before the Fury fight, and it was the biggest of occasions. But in a way, this is bigger. Do you know what I mean? There's going to be more eyes and more people talking about this. But I'd be saying, but I'd try and stress to him about enjoying it. You've worked so hard, you almost all your life for this. You've got to enjoy this, but by enjoy it, and I mean, just obviously having that laser focus, but just, you've earned your right to be here. And I think sort of with that, I'd also try and get across to him, listen, there's a great chance you're going to feel a shot or two, and I don't want you to panic. I want you to stick to the plan. And I think the plan would be that steady pressure. Again, I think he's got to look to establish his own jab. Nothing lazy can come out of that jab. It can't be a touching jab. I think you've got to get your feet there. Make sure his feet. I think his feet are important. His feet are important. Don't be punching out of range, punching his way in, because that's what I believe Anthony Joshua would feed off that and land the big counters. And I think every opportunity Daniel Dubois gets, and I think he does it well to the body for a big lad. I think you hit that body every opportunity you get.
Do you think this is Joshua's biggest challenge since the Usyk fights?
Oh, yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I don't even think that's up for discussion because, listen, that's. I think I said it in the column. I'm a big Anthony Joshua fan. I'm a big fan of the work that Ben Davison and the team do down there. But his 2 fights where everyone's saying he's better than ever, with the greatest respect, Dorato Valin, and it would be as an amateur, he's very comfortable with him. And Francis Ngannou, who was having his second professional fight. I think it's let's just, the form of Daniel Dubois in his last 2 fights, that's brilliant. Do you know what I mean? We can't be talking about, when you're looking at both men, like the last few fights, we can't be saying AJ is in better form than Daniel Dubois when you look at who he's been up against. So that's what the interesting thing is. But do I believe AJ will have a plan for fight night? Absolutely. They always do at that gym. I think they go into great detail in devising that plan. So no, it's but it is, Danny. I don't know about you, mate, but I am really sort of intrigued, and the closer it's getting, I can't wait. I can't wait for the whole card. Genuinely, I don't think there's a bad fight on the card. I really don't.
Now, I'm not going to ask you for your prediction because it's in the column and I want people to read it there. But one final question. You talked about the approach of the Ben Davison Performance Centre team just then. And a lot of other people in the build-up to this fight have spoken about it, the scientific, stats-based kind of approach, how it differs from the traditional methods that we've seen. How influential do you think that's been? Are you starting to see that kind of approach in other gyms and stuff?
I think, listen, there's gyms that'll study fights, but probably not in the detail of the technology that they might do there. Listen, I remember fighting and Joe Gallagher watched hours and hours of tape, so he'd probably have it in his head, but maybe not broke down as simple. Whether it was the technology wasn't as good, I don't know. But so there's no like the fighters for years and the teams for years and years have studied fighters for hundreds of years, and they probably had to do it in person and they had the luxury of watching it on video.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I have no doubt what doing there, they're doing very well, because you have to just look at the results of the fighters in the gym to see that. But I also think that Anthony Joshua's bought into that as well. I think he enjoyed that. From all accounts, I've never trained with Anthony Joshua, but from people who have it here, he's a real perfectionist, and I really think he'll love and thrive off that. Whether it be Lee Wiley, who sits down with him and go, right, look at this, and then he's like, right, and then Ben and the team, them, they're putting it into play,
on the
they're
pads
putting it into practice and on the pads, bags, sparring, and then I'm guessing they probably watch sparring and say, look how you done that. If you do that in the fight, this will happen. If you don't do that in the fight, or you do that in the fight, you do it wrong, then this could happen. So no, there's no denying it's a great tool to have.
Great stuff, mate. Really appreciate your time, especially being 7 hours ahead of us over in Singapore.
Yeah, no worries, mate. It's sound, no probs. Sorry I had to put you back. We just went out for a little bit of food after the thing, and I couldn't really get back otherwise. So
it's all right, mate. It's always worth waiting for.
It means a lot, mate. Yeah, but no, it's a mad little place actually. First day or so, I was thinking, I don't really get what the fuss is about, but never have. It's a cool city, country. I don't know what it is, but yeah.
Well, I hope you get to stay for longer next time.
Mate, no, I can't say I'm looking forward to getting everything's in order, do you know what I mean? Because my mate who assists me there, the two coaches who assist me, everything's been set out. But it was just bad because it had already booked it, before the date got changed. I couldn't then go back. And it's F1 week, so flights wasn't cheap. So if I would have then gone back and gone, can't do it, it's poor form, innit?
Well, we'll talk a lot more next week about Rhiannon Dixon's upcoming title fight with Terry Hart.
We will.
Look forward to that.
Yep, look forward to it, mate.